I really dislike these people. Oh my goodness. So first things first, let me just say, follow me on Twitter if you haven't. Second thing is I don't mix politics with games. That's the reason why I play games and then I put out political content. I've been on, a little break thanks to Spider-Man, but I try my hardest not to mix the two. Unfortunately, that is where we're at when it comes to Spider-Man 2, because I want to give a little background so people understand, moving forward into the video. The background is that we have these woke people, okay? And what I mean by woke people, we have to understand who these woke people are. Now, these people are typically Republican. They're typically white, or at least non-black. They're scrawny. They're usually males. They're incels most of the time, and they 9 out of 10 don't have any social skills outside of online and the internet. That's it. That comprises out about 99.9% of the people who are constantly screaming about woke, 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 woke. That's that group, okay? Now, I want you to understand that that's a group. Now let's compound this with the word woke and how they use it. The word woke, as I've said in many of my political videos, it stems from black culture. It stems from certain social issues that were going on within black communities that we talked about ourselves. It would be an in-house word that we would use within the community. What these demons have now done, this lineage of evil, okay, what they have done have been to use this word as a disparaging word, okay, as an insult. That's what they've done. So now the point is, everything that has to do with black people or non-white people is woke to them. That's what you have to understand. I want you to think about how sick that is. So when it comes to actual situation or socioeconomic issues dealing with black Americans, that's woke to them. And to them, that's bad because it's detracting from what they want, which is white people. And you have to understand, in the full context of things, these group of people have been coddled throughout our history in this country, okay? Have been coddled, have been told, hey, they're the greatest, your culture's the best, your system is the best, you're the best thing since sliced bread. And the truth is very, very different, all right? The truth is very, very different. And you have these generations of kids who are growing up believing that. So when they come to discover that that's not accurate, there's a cognitive dissonance. That now they're like, oh, that's not true, and they break, which causes them to be fragile. So a lot of these, I guess, Wokescolds or whatever they are, they're extremely fragile people, unfortunately. That's just, it's no fault of their own. That's just how society, that's how the systems in place have been set up to protect them, to protect their fragile ego. In addition to that, one heinous thing that they've done is they have compounded, as far as black issues, with alphabet issues, with the LGBT. So anything LGBT related is now woke. They've combined the two. So to where the word is meaningless now. Something that was used among black people, that was something that was precious to us, they have taken it and used it for evil. Okay, that's exactly what the scripture says the devil does, all right? He comes here to kill, steal, and destroy. That's exactly what these people have done. So if we have a background of who these people are and a background of what they are doing with the word woke. We take this and we view Spider-Man 2 through that lens. And now you see why you have all these videos talking about woke, 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 because to them that's what it is. For example, when it comes to the Haley mission. Now, I want you to understand, I have issues with many of these missions. The difference is context. The issue that I have with them is vastly different from the issue that many of these wokies have with it, or these Wokescolds, or these incels, or whatever they want, call themselves. That's the difference. When it comes to the Haley mission, I greatly appreciate the Haley mission. I'm not deaf. I don't know anything about deaf people. I don't know how they talk, how they the sign language, all that. I think that's cool. When it comes to this mission, I appreciated that, it was something new, right? Whether or not they executed it effectively. I appreciate, hey, they're taking a little risk with us having Haley, a non-Spider-Man character, Miles' girlfriend or hopeful girlfriend, and, it being completely mute in some cases where it's like, okay, that deaf people actually can hear. It's just extremely muffled. I didn't know that. So I took an appreciation to, okay, the game has taught me something new. That's interesting. I do think, however, it lingered on a bit. I thought it was cool. Oh, she's doing, a cute little picture over the graffiti. I thought that was great. And for someone, who grew up in a neighborhood where your house was, graffitied all the time, and you constantly had to paint it, I appreciated that. Now, one thing that many of these, these wokies, who, like I said, typically white, incel, no social life, what they don't know is other different perspectives. That's what they fail to understand. Because in their head, everything has to deal with them. Everything has to be white, 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 white. And anything other than that is bad. It's foreign to them. It makes them afraid. So when we have a perspective like Haley's, I don't mind it. I thought that was interesting. Gameplay-wise, I thought it was kind of dull. Okay? I think there are a lot of things that good ideas, because Brian Indahar says that he wants to bring the game from different perspectives. He wants to inject different perspectives in the game. I admire that. The only issue I have is how you execute doing that. That's the issue, not bringing in different perspectives in and of itself. It's how you go about executing it. I think it was poorly executed, but I appreciate the idea. When it comes to these woke people, these wokey wokes who are just, they have an issue with it being a black girl. They have an issue with it being a black girl. They have an issue with her having a disability. That's what their issue is. Like, oh, I'm playing a black girl. This game is woke. Once again, anything other than white. Oh, I have an issue. It's a disabled person. Once again, anything from what they perceive to be the norm. Any type of different perspective, they view it as lesser. Okay, it's similar to different cultures and whatnot. It's lesser. Similar to different beauty, what they view as beautiful. Anything other than that, it's lesser. The European standard, that's it. That's what it is. And that's, this brain rot, these smooth brains, that's what they suffer from. Another example is MJ. I don't have an issue playing with MJ. I think most people don't have an issue with playing with MJ. The issue is not with MJ. The issue is with the execution. That's 9 out of 10 where many game ideas or game concepts, that's where they fail. You may have a great idea, but you can't execute it properly. I don't have an issue with playing with MJ if you execute it properly. However, having said that, it's extremely difficult to execute playing as Mary Jane, a non-superhero character in a superhero game effectively. That doesn't make, the player not want to play as Spider-Man. That doesn't make you want to be like, hey, I don't want to play as MJ. I want to go back to web swinging, web gliding and all that. That is very, very difficult to accomplish. And to be honest with you, I don't think they accomplished that. I think it's better than what it was before, but at the same time, there are gaps in the story, as I brought up with my review. But I do think it's improved because, Brian Indahar says he doesn't give a damn if she's OP. I get that because there's going to have to be a certain level of OP in order to calibrate with playing as Spider-Man. So, however, I don't think they did that the right way. I think, for example, one mission that they could have, replaced with some of these missions was with her motorcycle, okay? Instead of going the combat route, we could have gone a different perspective, which is what he wanted to accomplish, where you have a motorcycle. You could have had motorcycle missions, especially in the last ending of the game, where you have motorcycle mission and you're driving through New York, trying to get to the Hive as, Miles is swinging above you, stopping, the symbiotes and stuff like that. That would have been great. It would have been, a callback to Miles Morales when he was chasing Rhino and Spider-Man was stopping, helping him out, lifting the train, saving the people and stuff like that. I think that would have been a more effective way to get players to play as Mary Jane without them having, her feeling overpowered, but also, making the experience fun. I think it all resides in execution. When you have these little incels, they just simply don't like it because it's a woman. Oh, it's a woman. Oh my God, it's Mary Jane. Oh, of course she can do that. She's Mary Sue and stuff like. So it's a different level of criticism that you see time and time and time again. Another mission I constantly hear people talking about is woke, 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 is the missions with Miles where he goes to the museum. Now, this has to do with, once again, their fragility as a whole. Because the issue that people have is that the bad guy is white. Okay, what's the problem there? Is it not okay for the white guy to be a bad guy? But of course, due to the fragility, they're like, oh, look, see, this is anti-white. They're making the white guy the bad guy. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm talking about? Of course we're playing as, a bunch of black couple, stuff like that. It's a black girl and it's a black museum and we have to go to a black museum and watch it. Because once again, they're a very insecure, fragile group of people. That's what they are. So when they see someone being portrayed as a bad person that's white, their fragility sets in. They feel attacked, which is ironic given the history of this country, especially with black Americans and how they constantly portrayed black people as criminals, black people as the evil, black people as the villains, even today with the propaganda. How many people do you know constantly, many of these woke crowds that constantly want to blame crime on black people. But when you have an actual in-depth conversation about, well, when you take into account as far as the income and whatnot, a lot of those, disparities happen to equal out. They don't want to hear that because many of them are anti-black racists. Unfortunately, that's just where the Republican Party is. You have this mission that I thoroughly enjoy because I didn't know a lot about, the people that they were talking about. I think the museum and going over as far as a lot of black people within the culture and within the history and the contributions they've made to this country and to the art form of jazz and other various mediums, I thought that was great. Once again, as I said, the non-black right, who's predominantly white, incel, constantly getting their information through, bunch of white neo-nationalists and stuff like that they think it's based and stuff, stuff like that. That's what they, it's a conflict there because they're like, oh my God, it's a black museum. Why is it black? That's just how they are. So when you hear a lot of this woke stuff, it's just drivel. It's just a level of insecurity from, the dominant society, which, has a lineage of evil, the majority of them. It just is what it is. Another mission, this is the last one, was the mission where Miles has to help, the little gay boy befriend his boyfriend, Lucas, or something like that. Kudos to Insomniac. I see what you did there, okay? I get it. Joke's on me. But nevertheless, it boils down to, at the end of the day, gay people exist. At the end of the day, gay people exist. And I can understand not seeing yourself in some games, or not seeing you in movies, or not seeing you in certain mediums. I can understand what that feels like. So what Insomniac has wanted to do is be inclusive. So they're including a scenario where you're helping, a kid, propose or to the prom or whatever. Not my cup of tea. It's just not, it's not my thing, but I understand why they would do it. I get it. I understand. There's certain things that you're not going to avoid. It's just not going to happen. I find it humorous that a lot of these Republicans want to talk about this, but it's like, you have log cabin Republicans. You have a Rob Bussy Smith. You have a Walk Away that is founded by a homosexual, a very avid homosexual. So there's very much a lot of bussy popping going on with the Republican Party, whether they admit it or not. So I find it interesting when you have such critiques that I've come across, that many of them just fall flat. Many of them are just your anti-black hatred or bigotry and stuff like that. Once again, I'm not a fan of this mission. It seemed completely out of place. And one thing how I tried to judge this is that if I had switched the characters, right? Instead of it being a boy, what happened if it had been a boy-girl? Would I have felt any different? And I think I would. And the reason why I would have, because I would have been able to resonate with it. Because I understand, the experience of, asking a girl out for prom and stuff like that. But as a boy, I disconnect from that because I don't know anything about that. But I'm sure there's some kid out there, some white kid, because it's not going to be a black kid because that's not a part of our culture, but I digress. There's some white kid out there who saw that. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. Oh, yeah, I have the same experience. So, you know what? Different strokes for different folks. As I've gotten older, I'm very much like, if you ain't going to harm me or take my monies, knock yourself out, all right? As long as I have the option not to play the mission, which, surprise, you have the option not to play the mission, You don't have to play any of these missions, which I find very peculiar because I'm like, you're just playing the mission to hate on the mission. That doesn't make any sense unless you're a weirdo, unless you're a sadist. Because I don't know anyone who clicks on like gay stuff and then is upset when gay stuff happens, right? You go on a Google search, you type in gay stuff, and then gay stuff pops up, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, what? No, there's something off with you, buddy. There's something going on there. But nevertheless, I'm just sick and tired of hearing this woke. And thankfully it's dying out because there are a lot of people who are just like, yo, this is just a marketing term. You're just doing this, just everything is woke. And it's like when everything is woke, then nothing is woke. So the fact that they bastardize a term that was used by black people, surprise, nothing new with their culture, they'll take something and just claim it as theirs. I think that's disgusting. But I do think there is absolute criticism with how they executed it in this game. Like I said, a lot of these missions aren't my cup of tea, but I think the criticism that many of these Wokescolds or these woke channels apply, they're not really valid. Once again, they come, as I said, from a point of ignorance, from a point of hatred and bigotry. And, they have every right to say what they say, but I just don't think that's going to be for the best of society, the best for gaming, and the best for anyone moving forward. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, Lucas, what happened to you, man? You used to be a patriot, all right? You used to fight for truth, justice in the American way. Why'd you go talk about this woke stuff? You turned to liberal, man. You turned to liberal. Or I mean, I believe at the end of the day, you're not stopping this, bro. You're not stopping white kids from turning gay. That just is what it is. And many of these kids happen to go up, into gaming industries and gaming works or whatnot, or movie industries, and they want to have a reflection of themselves in the medium that they're at. I can't knock them for that, okay? I mean, it is what it is. If you don't like it, then don't buy it, right? If you don't like what's in Spider-Man 2, don't buy it. That's the best advice I can give for you. Because as we see, Brian and Har is like, I don't care, right? I don't care. I'm going to make her OP. If you don't like that, don't buy Spider-Man 3. If you don't like it, don't watch the movies. It's as simple as that. I don't have an issue with it. I'm going to buy Spider-Man 3. I mean, depending on how it looks, if they give me more of the same, then no. But yeah, there's going to be people who are going to buy it, and there's going to be people who don't buy it. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you're more than welcome to call in during disagreement days. We're typically held Friday through Sunday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Either or. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Gay people exist.